All right, here we are live again. I'm doing episode 2, which is justice. Remember, I'm doing the 14 leadership traits from the United States Marine Corps. We abbreviate that. JJ did tie buckles, so the first J is justice. Yesterday we covered ethics and how we use our value system to determine what's right. Now we're going to look at traits that leaders should have in order to function well and influence well. So we're going to get into it. Cool. So, justice. What is it? Let's get there. Here's a good definition. Justice is defined as the practice of being impartial and consistent. A just person gives consideration to each side of a situation and bases rewards or punishments on merit. Excuse me. I know you're looking for some big secret thing on leadership, but the first of the 14 traits is justice. It's about taking your emotions out of the equation and looking at things from both sides to make the best decision. It was saying, I don't know if my dad yet or I heard it in the Marine Corps. I don't know where I heard it from, but it was life isn't fair, but it's just. I really like that saying. It's stuck with me, and I repeat it to myself a lot of times. You know, we get justice and fairness mixed up, and they're not the same at all. You could let's be a little bit melodramatic. Let's take the ending of somebody's life. If you plan out and put forethought into something, we call that premeditated murder, right? And the consequences of premeditated murder might be something different than if there was an accident and somebody was killed and it was your fault, vehicular manslaughter. Even though the results are the same, a human life has been lost, and that's sad, but the punishments are different. And even in vehicular manslaughter, it might be different if it was just an accident and maybe it was distracted driving, you were texting or something else like that, compared to, you've already had 3 or 4 DUIs, you were drunk at the time of the accident, and that happened. The punishments might be even more severe for something like that. So even though the result is the same and human life is lost, there's different levels of punishment depending on the circumstances of the situation, right? So even though if you wanted it fair, the punishment would be the same thing if you took another human being's life, no matter what the situation. But in justice, the punishments are different depending on the circumstances of the situation. So in leadership, even though you might have favorite people, you might have people that aren't your favorite, you might have people that are hard to talk to or whatever. Man, I totally forgot my microphone. I hope you guys been hearing me. Yeah. So even though the situations are different, the punishments might be the same. So in leadership, you have to base your treatment of people justly, not necessarily fairly. So you may not treat all the people the same all the time. So how can you improve on this? Well, first of all, is you got to be honest with yourself about why you make certain decisions. An interesting fact, if I told you to picture a purple elephant, okay, go ahead and picture a purple elephant. You're thinking about it. And then put like a pink umbrella in his trunk. So now in your mind's eye, you got a purple elephant with a pink umbrella. You think that's not a big deal, but this is a big deal. The big deal is you're observing yourself thinking about something. We call that self-awareness, and that's huge. As far as we know, within the animal kingdom, we're the only animal that is able to observe ourselves thinking, which means since we can do that, we can observe our thoughts and our actions and how we react to certain situations. So in other words, I can see myself maybe not being just with an individual, right? I can be self-aware. I can be self-conscious, not self-conscious. I can be self-aware of how I'm reacting in a certain situation, and then I can correct that behavior. Hey, Shyla. Then I can correct that behavior as I go along. So be honest with yourself about why you make a particular decision, right? So, you know, your self-integrity, which is another leadership trait that we'll talk about later on down the line. But you have to have integrity with yourself first and foremost, so you understand why you're making different decisions and why you're reacting in certain ways in certain situations. Avoid favoritism. That's really hard to get caught into. You know, you can have your favorite people that you lead or that you oversee, and try to be impartial at all times and treat all things and people in an equal manner. It sounds like that would be so easy, but it's not. You know, sometimes at work when I sit and I hear conversations that people are having, hey, thanks. I hear certain conversations about what people are thinking and doing and so on like that. And I'm thinking, man, I think you only have half the story there. You know, what's the other half of the story? So that's what we do. And that's the first of the 14 leadership traits is justice. And the most important way that you can grow and making sure that you are just in your dealings with people and in situations is to have self-awareness. That's all I got for today. Thanks for listening. Gunny is out.